Welcome back to Old War Stories with Uncle Jay. This one is entitled Take Raisins, Damn It, Raisins. So, this is going back to the late 1980s. I would have to say somewhere around 1988 or 89, I think. I was in the 4th or 5th grade, let's say. And it was Halloween. And we're still young. I was 9 or 10 years old. Figure, yeah, more like 10 years old probably. And my sister had this friend, Margot. And they were French, so it was Margox, or Margeaux. That was how her name was spelled. But Margot was, like, pretty cool and pretty nice. And somehow I was sort of ingratiated into tag along. There were only certain friends of my sister's that I could sort of tag along with every now and again, and Halloween was one of those days where that was, permissible, because now we had 3 people instead of just 2. And, my sister and Margot were, about 12, 13, somewhere in there. And anyways, we went around the neighborhood by my parents' house first. I believe it was. I guess it doesn't make a difference. Anyways, we went around and, you ring the bell, trick or treat, blah, 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 on and on, on and on, on and on. And then we got to the scary house. The scary house had vines growing on it, and there might have been like a broken window with a piece of cardboard taped on the inside that hadn't been fixed in, 5 years and whatever. And somehow we decided it would be a good idea to ring the bell. And we did. And we waited, and an elderly lady came to the door. Looked like your sweet old loving grandmother. And she had, like I do, a big bowl of candy. Now, depending on the houses you would go to, you would get varying degrees of Halloweenness. You would get the old Jewish men that they would come to the door, they would peek out through the little window there and see that. Then they'd kind of go like this, 1 minute, and they'd have to get their key because it wasn't a deadbolt thing that you could turn on the inside. You needed the key on the inside. Real smart. A lot of people who've had those locks, I've seen, they just leave the key in there so they can turn that. Anyways, so you'd get those old men, and then they'd come out and they'd put pennies in your pumpkin or bag or whatever you had. And then you had the other ones that would give you the old coffee table candy. Then you had the other ones who would open the door and then remember it's Halloween and then go get the candy and come back and waste our fucking time. And we used to, some of them wouldn't even answer the door, and the ones that we didn't answer the door, we said, well, screw it, we're going to just walk on their lawn to the next house. But the houses that actually answered the door, we were nice, and we walked back down their walkway to the sidewalk to the next house. We didn't have any of this millennial soccer mom van where they drop you at the next house, which is ridiculous because you're saving, 30 feet? Is it that hard, really? Anyways, so we're at the scary house with the old lady. And she has a bowl of candy, and she just, like I do, put it out for us to take stuff. So there was Skittles, there was Milky Way, there was this, there was that, whatever it was. So Margot's taking this, I'm taking a Snickers, my sister gets a Milky Way, blah, 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 blah. And there were also those little boxes of raisins. You know the ones I'm talking about, the boxes that are about this big, that you had as a little snack as a kid. Oh, I'm giving my kid healthy things, this is a snack. Right. So the little boxes of raisins, and of course none of us wanted to take any raisins. And the sweet old loving grandmother lady said, "Take raisins, damn it, raisins." And we lost it because an old lady said, damn it. That was a great, great time, and of course it stuck in my mind, and I still remember it to this day, some 31 years later. That house, eventually, later on, I don't remember exactly. There was another lady who ended up living there. Let me just see if I could jog my memory a bit for a minute. So there was some other lady that lived in that house. Maybe the elderly lady was that lady's mother. I have no idea. But the house, the vines around the house got more and more overgrown. Nothing, you never saw any movement, anything. It almost looked like the house was abandoned, like nobody lived there. So at one point or another, since the elementary school was about a block away from there, my sister and I had seen the lady there leaving. So we knew what she looked like, and she almost looked like a witch, which was interesting. It was kind of scary. There was a time later on where this was 1996, somewhere in there. The very same lady came walking down our block, and it was winter. There was a big snowstorm. We were shoveling snow. I think it was the next day, and it was sunny out at the time. It was definitely sunny out at the time. And the lady starts walking, and she walks past our house, and then stops dead in her tracks and goes like this. And just kept walking. Put her hand down and kept walking like it never happened. Definitely something a little bit fucked up upstairs. There was another time, exact same story, same lady walking by, and this time she stopped dead in her tracks, and she started going like this, like she's pulling herself on a rope that's above her head, and then kept walking. Very, very, very peculiar. Something tells me, and I can't remember for certain on this, but I vaguely seem to remember that years later, that house had a fire. I guess because none of the bills were paid, and it was so cold that they were trying to burn stuff in the fireplace where that lady was, and I guess it caught, and that was that. And never saw the lady again. I haven't been down in that neck of the woods in a very long time. At least 5 years since I've been there. I've been to my dad's house, but not to where that house is a few blocks away, because I had no reason to go down there. And so I have no idea what's there now. I guess I could look at Google Maps and see. But anyway, that was it. Take raisins, damn it. Raisins. Just hilarious to see an old lady say damn it. It was pretty cool. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this installment of Old War Stories with Uncle Jay. Make sure you click like, make sure you click subscribe, and take care. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.